After a whole year of interviewing some of the brightest minds in safety, risk, psychology, sociology, a hell of a lot of webinars, way too many reading of books and magazines, these are our predictions for 2021.
The problem in safety isn't deviation, it's complexity.
Health and safety has gone mad.
Health and safety is trying to unpick having gone mad in the past.
There's no one solution and one problem. The problem is that we are looking for one solution.
Does the structure of the team allow them to flourish?
Feel safe enough to be uncomfortable.
The environment defines our behaviours.
People aren't the problem, they're the solution.
Rebranding Safety, crushing the stereotype. Brought to you by Risk Fluent. What's up, peeps? Welcome back to Rebranding Safety. Rebranding Safety is a YouTube channel and podcast doing exactly what it says on the tin. We're here to change the perception of health and safety. So if you're new here, hit all those subscribes, follows, whatever buttons and the bells so you never miss another episode. Let's jump into today's video then. We're talking about our 2021 predictions for the profession of health and safety, risk, whatever you want to call it. What do I think is going to happen based on the conversations I've had, based on all the webinars I've been in last year and so on. 2020 was an absolute massive year. Will 21 be even worse, or will it pale in comparison? Well, if 2020 has taught us anything, it's that prediction videos are a really bad idea. But let's do it anyway. So, number one, fallout from COVID. We're obviously still going to be dealing with this for a while. I'm recording this 1 week into the new year and we're smack bang into another lockdown as the rest of the UK is as well. So this is going to be going for a while, but we're going to have some fallouts from this. Obviously there's going to be an economic fallout from this, which I'm not qualified to comment on really, but I think from a systems thinking point of view, you know, this is going to go on forever. It's going to have ripples effect throughout so many industries. One sector stopping is going to affect so many others. We're going to feel that pinch, I really do think we are. However, mental health is going to take, I think, a massive hit. We had a mental health crisis before COVID, and now, obviously you've seen on the news and so on, that we're talking about it all the time, but frankly, our staff and our people and everybody is going to be in a state of fatigue and stress, and they're going to be so tired after the end of this. If you think about it, you've never had to be so cognitive ever before in your life. You're now having to think about whether you've got your face mask, are you too close to somebody, are you at risk, you're constantly having to think about things. At work, you're constantly thinking of adjusting to these new ways of working. You're constantly having to adjust, if you're a manager, to new guidance and new lockdowns, and you're constantly worried as to whether you have a job tomorrow for some people. So this is just constant levels of stress all the time, this whole year. And there's going to be a massive fallout for that. The other thing that I think a lot of people have talked about is the changes in ways we work. I'm not really sure whether this is going to be as big as what we say it is. I think a lot of people think that as of, you know, the end of COVID, everyone's going to be working from home and no one's going back to the offices. I'm not really sure. I get the sense that it might be the other way. A lot of people are really missing that social interaction they get in the office and they're desperate to go back. And then there's some people that it just works for them to work from home. Me personally, it works for me to work from home. So I think maybe there would be a slight realization from some companies in that they could have more people work from home where possible. I think the change will not necessarily be the amount of people immediately, but the change will be people's perception of work from home. I think that will be the biggest change. Okay, number two, safety 1 and safety 2, new view, whatever we want to call it. What's happening there? What do we think is going to happen this year? Well, in my opinion, in 2020, we saw an absolutely huge increase in the amount of people talking about this. There was a hell of a lot more mentions of it in webinars. There's a hell of a lot more interest around resilience, around having the capacity to fail safe, which is some of the biggest terms in safety too. So what does that mean? Well, it means that maybe this year that will continue. We'll see more and more people talking about it. But secondly, I think what will happen is we may start to see more results. One of the biggest arguments from the safety 1 space is no one's showing us if this actually works. As this momentum seems to pick up and the more and more people are listening to it, the more and more people are doing it in their workplaces, the more and more evidence we'll start to have whether it works or whether it doesn't. If you want to know some more about safety 1 and safety 2, we've done an absolute mammoth mini series exploring what the differences are, what the challenges are, how to implement it, and kind of trying to trying to cut through some of the bullshit of the argument. So go and check that out. We'll link it in the description below. What about our profession? What's going to change there? I really do think we as a profession are having an identity crisis. We're really starting to challenge and try to really get a better understanding of what we are here to do. Why do we exist within the workplace, within occupational workplace? What's our job? What's our kind of foundations of what we're trying to do? What is our why, so to speak? I don't necessarily think we'll see a direct change in the way that we work straight away. I do think that the conversation will start to come up more. I'm going to do a video focusing on why I think our profession, as it stands now, as it's set up now, may be doomed to fail, and what I think it should look like in the future. I would hope to see some increased diversity coming into our profession this year. There's been a lot of work around events and people just generally talking around diversity and bringing some more diverse people into our profession, which is predominantly older, predominantly white, and predominantly male. And this is something that we are desperately needing to change. So I think we'll start to see an increase in that. I think we'll start to see an increase in people doing safety as a first choice career. The more and more we have more podcasts, more YouTube channels, more bloggers, more people on social media talking about this, telling people what this career is actually like, I think the more people will start to go, oh wow, that's what this is really about, and they'll be attracted to what I think is a great career. What about our professional memberships? I think our professional memberships, such as IOSH being the kind of monopoly in the space and RRSM being the immediate obvious challenger to that, I think they both have dominated this space for a very long time, and I think they will continue to do so. However, I think there will be an increased demand for value for membership next year and in the years to come, especially as the younger generations join the profession. I think people will want a more moral value out of something. They'll want to be able to see that they are really delivering change. The younger generations seem to, in my experience of just having conversations with them, are much more interested in what the moral impact they're having in the workplace. In addition, I feel that my generation and generations younger than me want more bang for their buck. They really want to know what they're getting for their money. So I genuinely think that IOSH, RRSM and other professional memberships will really come under a lot of pressure in the coming years to deliver more for their money. I also think we'll start to see an increase in people moving from the traditional health and safety memberships over to memberships in the, say, ergonomics and human factors space or the resilience space, where there are professional memberships for those. But I do genuinely feel like people will start to move away from the generalist occupational health and safety memberships over to maybe the more specific memberships. I think this is only a good thing. I think it creates more diversity in our workplace of the way we think and the way we approach, whether you're more resilience focused or more traditional generalist focused, so to speak. I also think that it encourages the professional memberships to up their game, and I think that that's only a good thing for us as customers of those memberships. Coming back to a point I slightly touched on earlier, again, diversity. Now, here I want to focus on the way that people think about diversity. This is something I talked about a lot on the podcast, but I feel like there's a sense of change in the way we think about diversity. Diversity now is coming from a point of view of an asset to our business, something that we desire to have, not just to tick a box, but to have different ways of thinking, cognitive diversity. People from ethnic minorities, different sexual preferences, genders, different economic backgrounds and so on. All of these people bring different ways of thinking, and I really think businesses are really starting to understand the benefits of that. So I'm hoping that we'll start to see an increase in that as well. Okay peeps, hope you enjoyed that video. That was my predictions for this year. Maybe they're more my wishes for this year, but they're definitely what I got a sense of feeling last year. What do you think will be the big changes we'll see this year? Or do you think we won't see any changes? Am I way off base, or have I absolutely nailed it? Let us know in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. If you enjoyed this video, please share it. If you want to work with us or help us out some more, you can go to rebrandingsafety.com, and there's loads of different ways you can help us keep this channel going, improve the quality, and keep it free as well. Thank you for watching. Safe.